For 3,000 years, the galaxy lived in peace. Not a fragile peace, not a temporary one. A long, steady peace that stretched across star systems and generations. Many believed it happened because the galaxy had finally become wise. Others said it was because trade was too valuable to risk war. Some claimed technology had made conflict pointless. But the truth was much simpler. The galaxy was peaceful because humans were watching. Human space was quiet, too quiet. There were no massive fleets patrolling borders, no loud broadcasts of power, no endless military parades. Human ships moved slowly and rarely. Their worlds stayed dim on galactic maps. Their borders never expanded aggressively. Too many alien empires, this silence meant weakness. They said humans had grown soft, that time had turned them calm and harmless, that a species so quiet could never be dangerous. They fear war, some said. They have forgotten how to fight, others laughed. Humans never corrected them. They never explained. They never argued. They simply watched. The Galactic Council chamber was the largest structure ever built in known space. It floated above a blue dwarf star, surrounded by shields older than most civilizations. Thousands of species were represented there. Thousands of voices, languages, and histories. That day, the chamber was full. Delegates filled the air with light, sound, and color. Some floated, some walked. Some existed in shapes humans could barely understand. At the center stood the speakers of the Karun Alliance. They were powerful, ancient, proud. The Karun had conquered dozens of systems over centuries. They were known for strength, speed, and overwhelming force. When they spoke, the chamber fell silent. The lead Karun commander raised a clawed limb and projected a star map. "We announce the end of stagnation," he declared. "Galaxy has grown weak." Murmurs spread through the council. The map shifted. Red markers appeared. Human space. Commander continued, his voice calm and confident. "We declare war. Not against a rival empire. Not against an old enemy. Dale, against humanity." For a moment, there was silence, then laughter. Some delegates made sharp clicking sounds. Others released clouds of glowing gas in amusement. A few slammed their limbs together in approval. War against humans? Many found it funny. Humans had not fought a major galactic war in thousands of years. Their fleets were unseen, their weapons unknown. To the council, they looked outdated. The Karun commander smiled. "Humanity will fall quickly," he said. "They will not resist. And they do not even prepare." The council did not vote. There was no need. The declaration was accepted. Far away, deep within human territory, the message arrived. Not to a fleet. Not to a battlefield. It arrived in a quiet room. A single human official read it. No panic spread. No alarms rang. The message was forwarded. Across planets, across stations, across systems. And then humanity replied. Not with a threat. It's not with a warning. Not with anger. It's just two words. Acknowledged. Nothing more. The message was sent back through official channels, plain and unadorned. When the Karun Alliance received it, confusion followed. "That is all?" one commander asked. "No demands, no protest, no begging for peace, just silence." The Karun laughed. "They accept defeat," the commander said. "They know they cannot win." Orders were given, fleets were launched. Thousands of ships moved toward human space, weapons charged, crews confident. Victory was expected. But among the older species in the galaxy, unease began to grow. Ancient observers reviewed old records. Dusty archives were opened. Forgotten warnings were reread. Some remembered stories. Human ships that never chased enemies. Human borders that swallowed invading fleets without battle. Exploration probes that vanished near human systems centuries ago. Quietly, messages were sent. "Are you sure?" Some asked the Karun. "Humans do not act like prey." The warnings were ignored. "You fear ghosts," the Karun replied. "We fear nothing." Inside human space, things began to change, not loudly, not suddenly. Deep beneath planets, ancient facilities powered on. Lights glowed in rooms that had not been used for millennia. Human commanders awoke from long sleep, not heroes, not conquerors, guardians. Systems older than many civilizations synchronized, networks unseen by the galaxy aligned. Humanity did not rush. They did not shout. They prepared calmly, because this moment had been expected. Not yesterday, not last century. 3,000 years ago. As alien fleets crossed the outer edge of human territory, their scanners showed nothing unusual. No defense lines, no resistance. Some commanders smiled. Then their sensors flickered, stars dimmed, signals weakened. Human space grew strangely quiet. Not empty, silent. And somewhere on a human command station, a single officer watched the displays and smiled. Not with joy, not with pride, but with understanding. The galaxy had finally chosen war. And humanity had been waiting. The alien alliance moved quickly. Across their worlds, invasion fleets were prepared. Weapons were checked. Soldiers were trained again and again. Commanders stood before large star maps pointing toward human space. This will be easy, many said. Humans are quiet because they are weak. But not everyone agreed. Among the older species of the galaxy, fear slowly returned. They had lived long lives. Some longer than human history itself, and they remembered things others had forgotten. In ancient archives, long-ignored warnings were found. Old star charts showed strange empty areas near human borders, as places where ships once existed, and then didn't. Records spoke of ancient human defense zones, not marked by walls, not guarded by fleets, just invisible lines in space. Any ship that crossed those lines never returned. Entire battle groups had vanished there centuries ago. No wreckage, no distress signals, just silence. At the time, humans said nothing. They never explained what happened. And so the galaxy moved on. An elder delegate from a crystal-based species reviewed one such record. His kind remembered the past clearly, spoke softly to the council. Human space is not empty, he warned. It is controlled. Others dismissed him. That was ancient history, a younger species replied. Humans have not fought in thousands of years. The elder did not argue. He remembered lost probes. Machines sent to map human territory. Advanced, careful, none returned. Even their final signals disappeared suddenly, as if space itself had swallowed them. Humans had been asked about it once. They replied calmly. Some places are not meant to be entered. That answer had never been challenged. The older species remembered something else too. Humanity never expanded fast. While others raced across the stars, claiming systems and building empires, humans stayed close to home. They never attacked first, never forced others to obey. They endured. Wars passed around them like storms around a mountain. Civilizations rose and fell. Humans remained, quiet, watching. Warnings were sent to the alien alliance. Private messages. Urgent signals. Do not rush, some said. Study human history. The alien commanders laughed. Fear has made you weak, they replied. We will end this myth. Orders were finalized. Massive fleets launched. Thousands of ships moved as one, their engines lighting the dark of space. The invasion had begun. Inside human territory, there was no panic. Cities did not evacuate. Markets did not close. People went on with their lives. Because humanity had prepared long ago. Far beneath planets, deep vaults opened. Doors sealed for thousands of years unlocked slowly. Dust rose in chambers that had not seen light since ancient times. Inside, machines awakened. Not new machines, old ones. Designed before most galactic species had even discovered space travel. Cryosleep chambers powered on. One by one, figures stirred. Human commanders from a forgotten age. Not politicians. Not heroes. Strategists. They had been trained for one purpose only. To defend humanity if the galaxy ever turned hostile again. They woke calmly. No confusion. No fear. They had known this day might come. Screens lit up before them, showing the galaxy as it now existed. Larger, more crowded, more confident. One commander studied the incoming alien fleets, so he said quietly. They finally chose. No anger filled the room, only focus. Across human space, ancient systems aligned. Defense networks synchronized. Artificial intelligences older than some civilizations came online. They did not ask questions. They followed protocols written thousands of years ago. protocols designed for a galaxy that forgot what humans were capable of. Meanwhile, the alien fleets continued forward. They crossed into regions where old records warned them not to go. Nothing happened. No explosions, no resistance. Their confidence grew. "See," Commander said. "The humans are afraid." But older observers watched in silence. They noticed something strange. Human space was becoming quieter. It's not empty. Silent. Communication signals faded. Background radiation shifted. It was as if human territory was slowly closing its eyes. On a distant human station, one commander looked at the same data. Did not smile. Not yet. "Phase 1 complete," he said. Humanity was not angry. They did not hate the invaders. They were simply ready. Because peace had never meant forgetting war. It had meant preparing for it. And the galaxy was about to remember why. The alien fleets crossed into human territory. Nothing happened. No warning lights appeared on their screens. No defense ships rushed forward. No weapons fired. Space looked the same. Stars burned softly in the distance. Human worlds stayed quiet. Alien commanders laughed. "This is human space," one of them said. "There is nothing here." The fleets moved deeper. Still nothing. Confidence spread through the alien ranks. Some officers relaxed. Others mocked the humans openly. They were afraid to fight, one commander said, but they hid. Orders were given to advance faster. That was when the first strange thing happened. Scanners flickered. At first, it seemed like a minor error, a short glitch. Then more systems began to fail. Navigation signals weakened. Communication lagged. An officer frowned at his screen. "Commander," he said, "I am losing star reference data." Another voice followed. "Our long-range sensors are blind." The laughter stopped. Human space went dark. Stars began to disappear from alien scanners, not explode, not move. They simply vanished. One by one, familiar constellations faded into nothing. The background noise of space dropped to silence. No signals, no radiation, just emptiness. The alien fleet slowed. "Restore sensors," a commander ordered. The systems did not respond. Weapons locked in place. Engines hesitated. Fear spread quietly through the ships. Then they appeared. Large shapes formed in the darkness. At first they looked like shadows, and scanners returned for a moment, and the alien crews saw them. Human warships, ancient, massive. Their hulls were dark and worn, covered in marks of age. No glowing lights, no flashing signals. They did not move aggressively. They simply arrived. The human ships were not arranged like attack formations. They surrounded the alien fleets calmly, as if they had always been there, watching, waiting. Alien commanders shouted orders. "Target them, fire, activate weapons." Nothing worked. Weapon systems refused to respond. Target locks failed instantly. Engines dropped to minimal power. One commander slammed his control panel. "We're being hacked," he shouted. But it was worse than that. Systems were not being attacked. They were being ignored, as if the human ships did not even consider them a threat. A single transmission broke the silence. It did not come through standard channels. It appeared directly on every alien display. Clear, calm, one sentence. "You are standing on forgotten ground." No emotion, no threat, just a statement. Some alien officers stared in confusion. Forgotten by who? One whispered. Suddenly, every alien ship lost power. Not violently, not suddenly, gracefully. Lights dimmed. Engines shut down. Weapons powered off. Life support remained. Humanity was not trying to kill them, only stop them. The alien fleets floated helplessly in space. Surrounded small human vessels moved in. Boarding ships. They did not rush. They did not fire. Human soldiers entered alien ships calmly, weapons lowered. There was no resistance. There could not be. Within minutes, the first alien invasion fleet was captured. No explosions, no battle cries. Not a single human shot was fired. Far across the galaxy, observers watched in disbelief. Data poured into neutral stations. A massive invasion force, stopped instantly. Captured without combat. Panic spread. Messages were sent to the Galactic Council. "They didn't fight," one report said. "They turned us off." Old species felt cold fear return. "This is what we warned you about," they whispered. The Karun Alliance demanded answers. "How is this possible?" their leaders asked. Humanity sent no reply. They did not need to. The message was clear. Human space was not empty. It was controlled. And the galaxy had just stepped onto ground it was never meant to touch. On a human command ship, a senior commander watched the captured fleets. He said nothing. Around him, officers waited for orders. "Hold position," he finally said. This is only the beginning, and across the galaxy, fear spread faster than any fleet. Because humanity had finally revealed the truth, they had never forgotten war. They had simply perfected how to end it. The galaxy asked one question. Why had humans waited so long? Why build such power and never use it? The answer did not begin in space. It began on Earth. Long before humanity reached the stars, humans nearly destroyed themselves. They fought over land, over beliefs, over power. They built weapons faster than they built wisdom. Wars burned cities. Weapons scarred the planet. Entire generations were lost. For a time, humans believed they would not survive their own anger, but they did, and they remembered. When humans finally reached space, they carried those memories with them. They saw other species fighting the same way they once had, expanding fast. Conquering without thought, human leaders made a choice. They would not repeat their past. They would not rule through fear. They chose patience. Instead of conquering the galaxy, humans focused inward. They rebuilt their world slowly. They studied conflict. They studied fear. They learned something important. Wars rarely start because of strength. They start because of misunderstanding and pride. So humans prepared not to dominate, but to end wars before they spread. Deep in human space, hidden from all outsiders, they built defensive technology. Not walls. Not visible fleets. Systems that could reshape space itself. Human engineers worked quietly for centuries. Each generation added small improvements. No urgency, no rush. They believed the future would test them eventually. They also built silent monitoring systems, sensors that watched the galaxy without being seen, networks that listened not to conversations but to intentions. Humanity knew when empires grew aggressive. They knew when fear turned into anger. They never acted, simply noted, prepared. Most important of all, humans built weapons meant to end wars fast, not weapons of terror, not weapons of conquest, tools that removed the ability to fight. They studied every form of technology they encountered, every weakness, every pattern. Their goal was simple. If war came, it would be short. Thousands of years passed. The galaxy changed. Empires rose and fell. Alliances formed and broke. Humans stayed silent. Too many it looked like fear. In truth, it was discipline. Now with the alien fleets captured and the galaxy watching, human leaders finally spoke. Not with threats. With calm. A transmission was sent to every major world. Human leaders appeared on screens across the stars. They did not wear armor. They did not shout. One voice spoke for all. "We waited," the leader said, "because we know what war does." Images followed. Not propaganda. History. Human cities burning. Refugees fleeing. Children standing in ruins. "We destroyed ourselves once," the voice continued. "And we learned." The leader looked directly into the camera. "Peace is not weakness," they said. "It is preparation," the message continued. Humanity explained their restraint. Why they never expanded fast. Why they never attacked first. "We chose to endure," the leader said, "to become strong enough that we would not need to fight." The galaxy listened in silence. Within the alien alliance, realization spread. This was not a species that forgot war. This was a species that understood it completely. They had not been hiding. They had been waiting for the galaxy to mature, fail. Older species felt something close to relief. Younger empires felt fear, because the truth was now clear. Humanity had never been peaceful by accident. Peace had been engineered, maintained, guarded. In private chambers, alien commanders reviewed the data again. The captured fleets, the silent shutdowns, the precise control. Human weapons did not destroy ships. They removed choice. They stopped conflict at its source. "This is worse than defeat," one alien leader whispered. They have mastered war without violence. On a human world, a child watched the broadcast. They did not cheer. They did not celebrate. They had been taught differently. War was never something to enjoy, only something to prevent. As the message ended, one final sentence was shared with the galaxy. We did not forget war, the human leader said calmly. We perfected how to stop it. Across the stars, the meaning settled in. Humanity had waited because they had learned the hardest lesson of all. True strength does not rush. It waits, and when forced to act, it ends the fight. The Alien Alliance made its final choice. Fear had spread through their ranks, but pride remained. They believed one truth above all others. They attacked with everything they had. No species could stand against them. So they launched it all. Across the galaxy, alien shipyards emptied. War fleets gathered from distant systems. Weapons older than some civilizations were activated. Energy reserves were drained to fuel one last strike. This was not an invasion. It was annihilation. Their leaders promised victory. They promised survival through force. The fleets advanced toward human space. Thousands of ships, millions of weapons. The galaxy held its breath. Nothing happened. Human space did not react. No counterattack. No warning. The alien fleets crossed deeper into territory already marked by silent defeat. Confidence returned. This time, they cannot stop us, alien commanders said. Then human systems activated. Space changed. Not violently, not suddenly. Subtly, the rules the alien fleets depended on began to fail. Energy flows shifted. Gravity weakened. Navigation systems became meaningless. Ships lost balance, not drifting, not spinning, falling. As if gravity itself no longer agreed with them. Weapons powered down, not from damage, from refusal. Their systems no longer understood how to function. Every attempt to fire failed. Every command returned empty. Alien crews panicked, not because they were being attacked, but because they were being ignored by reality. Human technology was not destroying fleets. It was rewriting local physics. Only inside controlled zones. Only around invading forces. Human engineers had studied the universe carefully. They learned where its rules could bend, and how to bend them back. Alien ships lost control one by one. Some froze in place. Some slowly sank toward nothing. There were no explosions. No screams echoing across space. Just silence. Defeat without destruction. On human command ships, commanders watched calmly. Screens showed thousands of enemy vessels helpless and quiet. No cheers rose in the control rooms. No celebration. Human officers had trained for this moment for generations. One commander leaned back slightly. Another allowed himself a small smile. Not from pride, from certainty. This outcome had been planned. 3,000 years ago. Humanity had never hoped for war, but they had prepared for it perfectly. Every system that activated today had been designed before the galaxy forgot what humans were capable of. Alien leaders watched the same feeds in horror. Their greatest weapons had failed. Their greatest fleets had fallen silent. They understood now. There was no victory left to fight for, only survival. A request was sent, then another, then many more. Negotiate, the alien leaders pleaded. We surrender. Humanity listened. They did not rush to answer. They did not threaten. They waited. Finally, a response was sent. Human representatives appeared before the galaxy once, more calm, unarmed, unafraid. We accept negotiation, the human leader said. Relief swept across alien worlds, then the condition followed. There will be peace, the leader continued. On one condition, the galaxy waited. This is the last war. The words were simple, but heavy, humanity explained. They would not rule the galaxy. They would not conquer worlds. But war would no longer be tolerated. It's not from the Karun Alliance, not from anyone. Any future conflict would meet the same response. Silent, total, final. The alien leaders agreed immediately. They had no choice. They had seen what happened when humans stopped waiting. Across human worlds, people watched the broadcast quietly. They did not celebrate. They understood the cost of power, and the responsibility that came with it. The war ended without a battle, without fire, without blood. The galaxy would remember this day, not as the day humanity conquered the stars, but as the day humanity smiled and ended war forever. The galaxy did not celebrate the end of the war. There were no victory parades, no monuments built in haste, no songs of triumph. Instead, there was silence, a different kind of silence than before. This silence carried understanding. Everything had changed. The alien alliance withdrew its remaining fleets. Borders were redrawn. Weapons were powered down. Not because of signed treaties, but because everyone now knew the truth. Humanity could stop war completely. Humans did not take control of the galaxy. They did not place rulers on alien worlds. They did not demand tribute or obedience. Human leaders refused such offers. "We do not wish to rule," they said calmly. "We only wish to protect what remains." And so humanity became something new, not an empire. Guardians, human monitoring systems remained active, quiet, invisible. They watched trade routes. They watched rising tensions, not to interfere, but to prevent collapse. When disputes formed, human envoys arrived early. They spoke calmly. They reminded others what war truly cost. Conflicts ended before they could grow. Alien species slowly began to understand. Peace did not exist because the galaxy had become kind. It existed because humans allowed it, because they were patient, because they were prepared. Older civilizations shared the story with their young. They spoke of the day the stars went dark, the day fleets were captured without a shot. They spoke with respect and fear. Newer species learned faster. They studied human history carefully. They learned why humans waited so long, why they watched instead of ruling, why their strength was hidden. Humanity did not smile often, but when they did, the galaxy paid attention. On human worlds, life returned to normal. Children went to school. Ships carried supplies and travelers. Cities glowed softly at night. The war felt distant, but never forgotten. Humans taught their young about the past, not to inspire pride, but caution. One human historian summarized it simply: "Humanity never feared war," he said. They simply hoped no one would force their hand. The word spread across the galaxy. They became a warning and a promise. Years passed, then centuries. The galaxy remained peaceful, not because war was impossible, but because it was remembered. Everyone remembered the day humanity smiled at war and what followed. No empire challenged human space again. No fleets crossed forbidden lines. Because those lines were no longer invisible, they lived in memory. Humanity continued watching, quietly, patiently, prepared, not as conquerors, but as guardians of a peace hard-earned. And so the galaxy moved forward, under calm stars, knowing one truth above all others: as long as humanity watched, peace would endure.